Today on Toy Habits Reviews, we are taking a detailed look at the evil Lord of Destruction in his Filmation form. And before we dive into the review, smash that like button, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss a beat. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits, and we have the Cartoon Collection Skeletor in the spotlight, so let's start off like we usually do and take a look at the packaging. Alright, and let's take an up-close and personal look at Skeletor's package. Well, you know what I mean. So the evil Lord of Destruction is presented on this beautiful Cartoon Collection new card back, and it is unpunched, which is awesome. You can see Castle Grayskull behind, and you get a full shot of Skeletor with the pack-ins that reference the Masks of Power episode. Now on the back we have a beautiful illustration of Skeletor scheming over his table in Snake Mountain, and you can see Aran and Ona gazing at the Masks of Power and wanting to put them on. And so it's very cool that this figure comes with these Masks of Power as a nod to the episode, and you can also see the cross-sell on the back. And for those who like the UPCs, here it is for you. Alright, let's break Skeletor out of his plastic prison and take a look at the figure in more detail. Alright, so let's take a look at the evil Lord of Destruction in more detail. And this figure really pays homage to the Filmation cartoon. This is a very cool head sculpt for Skeletor. He has a light yellow face like he appeared in the cartoon, and he has black eye sockets as well as black around his mouth just to accentuate and set off the Skeletor head sculpt. He also comes with some armor that also gives a nod to the Filmation cartoon, and really all these figures are less detailed because the animation was 2D back then, and so a lot of the detail that we are used to seeing in these figures is stripped out in order to make them suitable for the Cartoon Collection line. So you can see the small crossbone pattern that Skeletor has in the middle of his chest, and you can see the rivets that adorn his shoulder armor on each side of him. He also has a purple hood, and it looks really cool because the hood makes it look like he has folds in his hood which mimic real clothing. And you can also see in the back the contact point where you can take the armor off if you choose to do it. And flipping him around to the front, we see his waist armor covering the family jewels, which is great. And you can also see the updated leg sculpts that Skeletor has for legs using the new MOTU Origins Cartoon Collection figure buck. The boots are very clean and simple, just like they appeared in the Filmation cartoon. So first impressions, the Skeletor is really amazing in hand. So let's take a look at his weapons and accessories. And Skeletor comes with an amazing pack out that contains his Havoc Staff, the 2 Masks of Power, and a purple power sword. So let's take a look at the Havoc Staff, and very cartoon inspired. I love what they did here with the ram's head, as it looks amazing. There's so much detail in this ram's head, but a lot of the detail is kind of lost because it's one single color, but you can make out some of the pronounced horns and the face really well. It also comes on a purple staff handle, and it does have some detail on that handle as well as a big ball at the bottom mimicking the cartoon. So great weapon. Love this version of the Havoc Staff, and I'm also loving the versions of the power swords that come packed with these figures. It's made of like a shinier purple plastic than we're used to, so it's not matte, and the shine is not obnoxious like the chromed out versions that came with He-Man for his 40th anniversary 4-pack. All right, let's take a look at the first Mask of Power, and this head sculpt is great. And what they decided to do was, instead of make a mask that fit over Skeletor's head, they basically made it an alternate head sculpt, which is great. You can see a lot of the detail here, and all the angles just make this Mask of Power really stand out. And next up we have the second Mask of Power, and again, very angular design. You can see the eyes sculpted here, and some really three-dimensional aspects of this mask really pop. And it's also really easy to fit these masks on Skeletor's head. So what you're going to do is just pop his head off, and you just switch it out like you normally would with an alternate head sculpt that would come packed with the figure. So this is Skeletor's look that he has with that Mask of Power. I'll call it version 1 just for simplicity, and you can see how the mask fits around his head, and it really looks awesome. I'm so glad that they chose to make this an alternate head sculpt that you can pop on and off versus a mask that you can fit over his head. Ooh, I love that popping sound. All right, and here is the second Mask of Power, and yeah, just gives Skeletor a very different look. And I love that this mask also comes down to the crest of his armor, so it actually looks a lot more form-fitting than the other one. You can see how it covers a lot of the neck, you know, where that peg is. So these masks were really made to fit very nicely over the figure. And Skeletor also comes with the Wizard's Vizard mini comic, which features a very cool story. And yeah, if you get this in hand, you can read all about it. But it features Man-at-Arms, He-Man, Skeletor, the Masks of Power, some of the Eternian guards, and some dragons as well. It's a cool read. And here is Skeletor all geared up with his Havoc Staff and his Power Sword, and they look great in hand, and you can really make a lot of fun poses with Skeletor and the Power Sword. The only thing that is his Power Sword cannot fit in the back of his armor because there just is no slot for it, which is fine. You know, if you want to pose him with the sword or just keep it in the accessory bin, he'll look great either way. And here is Skeletor with a wider shot of the whole body with the Mask of Power version 1 on, and he looks amazing. You can imagine him channeling the power that's running through his mask all through his body. But he looks great, and let's pop the second version of the mask on him and show you what that looks like. All right, and here's version 2 of the mask, so you decide which mask preference you like better, version 1 or version 2, but both look amazing and both will add some great displayability to your shelf. I'm loving what they did with these pack-ins, and this gives me a lot of hope that the cartoon collection future figures will come with some amazing accessories. And here is a quick comparison to the original Masters of the Universe Origins Skeletor versus the cartoon collection, so you can see the differences in skin color, although they are very slight and probably not easy to tell on camera. But the vintage MOTU Origins Skeletor's body color is a little bit darker than the Filmation version, and you can also see that the details are kind of stripped out from the armor here. So you can see that the Origins version, the vintage one, has a lot of detail on his chest armor, where on the cartoon collection it is just left detailless or devoid of detail. Same with the boots. And just because the Filmation is giving a nod to the cartoon, a lot of the detail is stripped away. You can also see some of the oversized armor that they put on the cartoon version of Skeletor. So let's take a look at him from the front, and we can turn him around to the back. So the armor is in classic form in the vintage MOTU Origins collection, and this is how the armor looks on the new cartoon collection version. But all in all, great looking figure for the cartoon collection, and it definitely adds some displayability and will change up your shelf in a dramatic way. Here is Skeletor next to his loyal henchman, Beastman, so you can see how these cartoon collection figures are coming together, and they are going to look fantastic once Skeletor builds out his evil henchman army in cartoon collection form. And that wraps up the review for the cartoon collection Skeletor, so let us know what you think about this figure in the comments below, and be sure to check out the amazing still image review done by the one and only Toy Sorceress on our website, www.toyhabits.com, and the link is provided in the description and in the pinned comment, so you can also see those still images. And on your way out, Be sure to smash that like button, and if you've not subscribed to the channel yet, we would really appreciate it. See you next time.